भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। गोपाल भट्ट गोस्वामी तिरोभाव तिथि की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि वो। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gaura. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्योत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय Govindaya Namo Namaha. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the second canto, chapter number 4, the process of creation, text number 8. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman Hare Adbhuta Karmanaha Durvibhavyam इवा भाति कविभिः चापि चेष्टितं नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यमिवा भाति कविभिश्चापि चेष्टितम् नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यमिवा भाति कविभिश्चापि चेष्टितम् नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यमिवा भाति कविभिश्चापि चेष्टितम् नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्म हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यमिवा भाति कविभिश्चापि चेष्टितम् नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यमिवा चेष्टितम् नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यमिवा भाति हरिचापि चेष्टितम् नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यमिवा भाति हरिभिः चापि चेष्टितम् नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् दुर्विभावमिवा भाति कविभिः चापि चेष्टितम् नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यमिवा भाति कविभिः चापि चेष्टितम् माताजी नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यमिवा भाति कविभिश्चापि चेष्टितम् नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यम् इवा भाति कविभिश्चापि चेष्टितम् नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् दुर्विभाव्यमिवा भाति कविभिः चापि चेष्टितम् नूनं still insufficient Bhagavata of the personality of Godhead Brahman, O learned Brahmana, Hare of the Lord, Adbhuta, wonderful, Karmanaha, one who acts, Durvibhavyam, inconceivable, Eva, like that, Abhati, appears, Kavibhi, even by the highly learned, Cha, also, Api, in spite of, Cheshtitam, being endeavored for. Translation and purport by Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The translation, O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. The purport, the acts of the Supreme Lord in the creation of just this one universe appear inconceivably wonderful, and there are innumerable universes, and all of them aggregated together are known as the created material world. And this part of his creation is only a fractional portion of the complete creation. The material world stands as a part only. Ekam Shena Sthito Jagat. Supposing that the material world is a display of one part of his energy, the remaining three parts consist of the Vaikunta Jagat or spiritual world, described in the Bhagavad Gita as Mad Dhama or Sanatan Dhama, or the eternal world. We have marked in the previous verse that he creates and again winds up the creation. This action is applicable only in the material world because the other greater part of his creation, namely the Vaikunta world, is neither created nor annihilated. Otherwise, the Vaikunta Dham would not have been called eternal. The Lord exists with Dham, his eternal name, quality, pastimes, entourage, and personality are all a display of his different energies and expansions. The Lord is called Anadi, or having no creator, and Adi, or the origin of all. We think in our own imperfect way that the Lord is also created. But the Vedanta informs us that he is not created. Rather, everything else is created by him. Narayana paro avyaktat. Therefore, for the common man, these are all very wonderful matters for consideration. Even for great scholars, they are inconceivable. And thus, such scholars present theories contradictory to one another. Even for the insignificant part of his creation, this particular universe, they have no complete information as to how far this limited space extends, or how many stars and planets are there, or the different conditions of those innumerable planets. Modern scientists have insufficient knowledge of all this. Some of them assert that there are 100 million planets scattered all over space. In a news release from Moscow dated February 21st, 1960, the following piece of knowledge was relayed. Russia's well-known professor of astronomy, Boris Vorontsov Veliaminov, said that there must be an infinite number of planets in the universe inhabited by beings endowed with reason. It could be that life similar to that on Earth flourishes on such planets. Doctor of Chemistry Nikolai Zerov, covering the problem of atmosphere on other planets, pointed out that the organism of a Martian, for instance, could very well adapt himself to normal existence with a low body temperature. He said that he felt that the gaseous composition of Martian atmosphere was quite suitable to sustain life of beings which have become adapted to it. This adaptability of an organism to different varieties of planets is described in the Brahma Samhita as Vibhuti Bhinnam. That is, each and every one of the innumerable planets within the universe is endowed with a particular type of atmosphere. And the living beings there are more perfectly advanced in science and psychology because of a better atmosphere. Vibhuti means specific powers and Bhinnam means variegated. Scientists who are attempting to explore outer space and are trying to reach other planets by mechanical arrangements must know for certain that organisms adapted to the atmosphere of Earth cannot exist in the atmospheres of other planets. Easy journey to other planets. One has to prepare himself, therefore, to be transferred to a different planet after being relieved of the present body. As it is said in the Bhagavad Gita 9.25, Yanti Deva Vrata Devan Pitrun Yanti Pitrvrataha Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja Yanti Matyajino Pimam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Maharaj Parikshit's statement regarding the workings of the creative energy of the Lord discloses that he knew everything of the process of creation. Why then did he ask Shukdev Goswami for such information? Maharaj Parikshit, being a great emperor, a descendant of the Pandavas and a great devotee of Lord Krishna, was quite able to know considerably about the creation of the world. But that much knowledge was not sufficient. He said, therefore, that even greatly learned scholars fail to know about that. Even after great effort, the Lord is unlimited and his activities are also unfathomed. With a limited source of knowledge and with imperfect senses, any living being up to the standard of Brahmaji, the highest perfect living being within the universe, can never imagine knowing about the unlimited. We can know something of the unlimited when it is explained by the unlimited, as has been done by the Lord himself in the unique statements of the Bhagavad Gita. And it can also be known to some extent from realized souls like Shukadeva Goswami, who learned it from Vyasadeva, a disciple of Narada. And thus the perfect knowledge can descend by the chain of disciplic succession only, and not by any form of experimental knowledge, old or modern. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurinmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This very beautiful verse, very famous, that Harehe Adbhuta Karmana, the Krishna's activities are marvelous, they're wonderful, and cannot be described unless someone hears from a bona fide source. Because Krishna is not just physically unlimited. When he expands, he has so many expansions. From his own self, from Balram there is Chaturbhuja expansions. Then Narayan, then again second Chaturbhuj, then Mahavishnu, and then there are Purusha avatars. So many expansions to be understood, they are coming from Krishna. And there are unlimited universes. Within one universe, there are 14 different planetary systems. And each planetary system is like a layer of infinite number of planets. So such 14 in total. Layers of infinite number of planets within one universe, and such unlimited universe are coming from Mahavishnu, who is just expansion of his expansion. So it's very difficult to even put it into words how to understand Krishna's greatness. That's why the great devotees, they tell the world, Harehe Adbhuta Karmana. First we have to understand how Krishna's activities are inconceivable, ununderstandable in one sense. Even when Krishna appears in the world, there is 3 different confusions that are given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He tells when Krishna comes, he gives the primary 3 confusions within the personality of Krishna, that when he appears, there is Janmavad. How Krishna is taking birth, there is Janmavad, there is his activities, Karmavad, and how Krishna leaves the world, that is his Mrityuvad. So all 3 are bewildering for the ordinary public. So in Bhagavatam also it is mentioned that Jayati Jana Nivaso Devaki Janmavado Yaduvar Parishat Swair Dorbirasyan Adharmam. So it's very beautifully described in Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna, even Devaki Janmavado, when Krishna decides to appear, he first appeared, and then Vasudev, he saw the 4-handed form, and the 4-handed form of Lord Vishnu is telling the would-be father what to do. That is bewildering. Like, we don't have any experience that when we are born, we don't tell the mother and father that, my dear father, now when I'm born, please make sure that I am enrolled into this college. Please make sure that I go to New Dwarka, ISKCON. Because we don't have the control, because the ordinary people are born in ignorance. But Krishna's personality, he is talking to the father even before, at the time he is born. That's why it's Janmavad. It's so bewildering. Krishna is simultaneously born to Vasudeva and Devaki at the same time. Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj also. So whose son is he? Is he Yashoda Nandan or is he Devaki Nandan? That is also confusion. Usually one person cannot have two pair of parents. It's impossible. But Krishna has it. So that's again Janmavad. So that's why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions that actually the original personality of Godhead Krishna is Shyama Sundar, who is Sarva Avatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan, the fountainhead of all incarnations. He is actually Yashoda Nandan only. Then how come Bhagavatam says Devaki Nandan? Everywhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, mostly you see Krishna is described as Devaki Nandan. Even Devaki Janmavad. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, wait a minute. Actually, Mother Yashoda's household name is Devaki. Like in India, especially when a girl child is born, there is birth name given by the father. And at the time of marriage, sometimes the husband side gives another name. So Mother Yashoda's pet name or household name is Devaki. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this Devaki means actually Yashoda only. So Shyama Sundar, the original person is Yashoda Nandan. If you go further, Krishna started his activities that appear very bewildering. Again, Karmavad. When Krishna starts to perform his activities, they are very bewildering for the common people. Like stealing of butter. In that regard, we see stealing is very considered as bad activity. And nobody appreciates in this world. If someone steals, nobody says that, oh, how cute. Nobody says that. But when Krishna does it, actually Gopi's heart is filled with love that, oh, look at him, he's stealing in my house. I'm so fortunate. So, that is also Krishna's activities are bewildering. Krishna is not like somebody who has the habit of stealing, he can't help it. It's not like that, because when gopis would come complaining to Mother Yashoda that Krishna has stolen from my house, Mother Yashoda always had the doubt. How it is possible? How it is possible, because he is son of the king of Vrindavan and my house is filled with butter. My house is filled with buttermilk. You name it and we have it. We have 900,000 cows. Krishna can take whatever he wants. The Mother Yashoda always had this question. But the answer we find in Krishna book by Srila Prabhupada, that when gopis would come to complain, actually they were discussing Krishna Katha. Just like we are right now here, we have this beautiful temple and every day we have Srimad Bhagavatam, we discuss about Krishna's pastimes. But in those days, they were not so much facility because they are in the village and they're very simple cowherd gopis, girls. And ladies, they have so many responsibilities. So their Krishna Katha, their Bhagavatam class was when they would come together and they would complain about Krishna. And they would feel so nice. So one time when Mother Yashoda got fed up that I'm constantly hearing that Krishna did this, Krishna stole butter. So I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to bind him. I will not let him out. The gopis started to feel little disturbed. One time, one gopi said that as per your instruction, Mother Yashoda, as per your instruction, we hid all the ghee, the butter and buttermilk, everything in the dark. But still Krishna came and stole it. Then Mother Yashoda said, how it is possible? Because you put so many nice jewels, shining material, different jewels, ornaments on his body, and it's shining, so there is so much effulgence. So Mother Yashoda says, then let me take it all off from the bodies of Krishna and Balram. Immediately gopis said, no, please don't do that. We are not actually complaining, we are just talking because we can't stop talking about Krishna. It's not a complaint, don't take it seriously, it's only Krishna Katha. So Mother Yashoda would always think, why Krishna has to steal? Rupa Goswami gives the answer in one of his beautiful verses. He mentions that one time when Krishna very softly went into the house of an elderly gopi, and he saw the gopi was laying down and she was sleeping, and he saw, and he signed all his friends that this is the best time. Come very softly, don't make noise. And with very soft steps, Krishna entered inside and he did his job. And when his heart was full, when he ate so much butter that they could barely walk, then he started to slowly, softly come out. And that time he saw that the elderly gopi who was sleeping, she had a beaming smile on her face. So Krishna was bewildered. He thought, how come she is sleeping at the same time she is smiling? So the other friend said, maybe she is dreaming something. Who cares? Let's go. So they ran out. But Rupa Goswami gives the answer that actually that gopi was not sleeping. She was pretending to be asleep. And when she saw that Krishna has entered my house and now he is stealing the butter that I made, so her heart was filled with love, and because of which she had that beaming smile. So actually, Bilva Mangal Thakur says that when Krishna steals butter, it's not that he wants to steal the butter. Actually, he is interested in the butter from the heart of his devotees, the butter in the form of love that is in the hearts of his devotees. That's what he is interested in stealing. So that's how we understand that Krishna's activities appear very bewildering. Like Srila Prabhupada also describes that Krishna dancing with the gopis externally may appear immoral or bewildering, but Srila Prabhupada explains so beautifully how there is not a tinge of lust. And Krishna's playing with the gopis, dancing in the Rasa Leela, is just like a little child that is crawling on a shining surface, and he sees his own reflection on the shining pillar or a shining surface. He sees his own reflections in different dimensions, and he is playing with his own reflections, the little child. The same way Krishna, when he is playing or he is performing pastimes with the gopis, he is actually, in one sense, the 108 gopis are the direct expansions of Srimati Radharani, who is non-different than Krishna. Radha Krishna, Eka Atma. So that's how, if we understand from the words of the Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, then we can actually understand the transcendental nature of Krishna's wonderful pastimes. Even in the future, when Krishna arranged the war of Kurukshetra, in Bhagavatam it is described that Yadu Var Parishatsvair Dorbhirasyan Adharmam, that Krishna with his own hands, he torn apart the adharma from this world and relieved the Mother Earth from all the sinful people. But the ordinary people would think that Krishna did not even lift a weapon. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna did not even kill one person. So how come he is described as his own hands, he is relieving the Mother Earth from sinful people without even lifting a weapon? So Srila Prabhupada gives example. Actually in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that in that verse, Drushtya Vidhuya Vijaye Jayam Udvi Ghoshya, Krishna doesn't have to lift a weapon to kill someone. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is described that when all the army of the Kurus came in front of Krishna, that time Krishna saw that who are all these people who have dared to lift weapon against my devotees. Let me see each one of them. So Krishna only glanced at each one of them, and Drushtya Vidhuya Vijaya Jayamudvi Ghosha. Srila Prabhupada explains that just by looking at them, Krishna reduced the lifespan of all those, the rascals, all the demoniac kings that were present. ready to fight against Pandavas. So Krishna doesn't have to lift weapon, and he did that just by looking at them. So such a transcendental and hard to understand for ordinary people. Even in the future, Srimad Bhagavatam describes, after that, Prochodhavaya Samagat Swadhama. Prochodhavaya. That means Krishna, after that, he gave the knowledge in the form of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. And later on, after Mahabharata war was over, he also gave the spiritual knowledge to Uddhava. And after that, he checked his to-do list. That he checked everything, that the reason I came here for, everything has been achieved. So he decided to go back to his spiritual world, his own kingdom. So here it is said, Samagat Swadhama. So again, that is Mrityu Vada, the confusion that Krishna creates. And many acharyas have commented why Krishna behaved in a certain way. Why does Krishna have to accept a so-called, why does he have to make a drama of death? Krishna, many a times when he comes to the material world, he also likes to follow the rules of the material world. Janma karma, dhruvam janma mritasya cha, right? The person who is born, he has to die. This is the world of the material world, that's the rule. So Krishna also likes to accept and show to the world that when I come to the material world, I also like to follow the rules. So Krishna accepted and created a drama of his death. But he left with his own self, because there is no difference between Krishna's body and his soul. So when Krishna's devotees, they appear into the world, many a times, we see that devotees of Krishna, they are also put through the so-called miseries of the world. Sometimes we see that a devotee of Krishna, despite having given his life, despite completely being surrendered to Krishna, still we see that Krishna puts the devotee in different difficult situations. And the ordinary people, or sometimes even devotee community, we think that why does this devotee have to go through so much trouble in the life? Here in this regard, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions a beautiful point. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions that the devotees of Krishna, actually they are deathless, they never die. But because Krishna accepts a so-called death, a devotee doesn't mind also to accept the death. If everything is smooth sailing in a pure devotee's life, then common people won't connect with the devotee or the path of devotion, thinking it's not for them, since we are suffering and they are pure devotees. Therefore, Krishna sometimes puts his pure devotees in difficult situation. So despite that state, they perform bhakti and inspire others better. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is mentioning a very beautiful point here. That if, for example, if I tell you a beautiful story of a great devotee, and if we say that Krishna Das was born in a rich family and they were highly devotional, and the Krishna Das, he had everything perfect in his life. He had perfect education. Later on, he got married to a perfect wife, and he had a perfect life. He got perfect children, and later on, he left his body and he went back to Krishna. Everyone will clap to this story. Everyone will say, what a beautiful story. But the problem with this story is the ordinary people won't be able to connect to this. Just like when a little child The mother says, drink milk, drink milk. And the child is saying, I don't want milk, I don't like it. But the mother says, Spider-Man drinks it. Superman drinks milk, so you should drink milk too. So the little child may drink it just because Spider-Man drinks milk. But as he grows up, he understands that he is a different person. I am different. So next time when the child is growing up, he says, yes, the Spider-Man may be drinking milk, but I am not Spider-Man. Spider-Man doesn't have to go to school like I have to. And he doesn't have stress, he doesn't have homework like I have. Then they won't be connecting. That's why when Krishna lets one of his dearmost servant into this world, he makes them appear like an ordinary person, so that ordinary people can connect with that person. So that ordinary people will see that, oh, even this person, for example, Prahlad Maharaj, he went through so many troubles from his father, from the father's side, so many troubles every day, but still he did not leave the path of devotional service. So when all the devotees who are also trying to make progress in devotional life, and if they have troubles from the parents, they can take inspiration from Prahlad Maharaj. Or for example, Srila Prabhupada, he had a difficult marriage life. His wife was not very favorable for Krishna consciousness. But Srila Prabhupada, he never budged a little from the path of devotional service. He kept on going and going. So, in that sense also we can get the inspiration. Or the story of Narada boy, he was born in a low-class family to a mother who was menial servant. But when he accepted the path from the Bhakti Vedantas, and when the mother passed away, the little Narada boy, he did not give up. He did not give excuse that now I have no support, now I have nothing else, I am just a little boy, I cannot perform bhakti. But no, Narada boy, he went in the forest and he performed severe austerities, devotional service to please Krishna. And in that sense, he is showing to the world that we don't have an excuse. If Narada boy did not give an excuse, we are not in that condition. We have so much more facilities given by Srila Prabhupada. We do not have an excuse. None of us are going through the hardships that Prahlad Maharaj have gone through. So we do not have excuse. So that's why here Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions that that's why Krishna, he lets his devotees go through difficult situations. So despite that state, they perform bhakti. And in that way, they inspire all the ordinary people. So all the ordinary people can become extraordinary. The gap can be bridged when an extraordinary devotee of Krishna comes on the platform of ordinary people and performs devotional service with them, with the ordinary people. And then he sets the best example. So in that sense, we should understand all the devotees who come to this world and they accept the roles just like ordinary people, and they show to the world how to perform bhakti. And even the time of death, the devotee teaches to the world how to die. How to die in Krishna consciousness, and how Krishna's support is always there with the devotee. Externally, it may appear that devotee is alone, but Krishna's support internally is always there with the devotee. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Anybody's questions, comments? Maharaj?
First, I want to thank you very much for wonderful class, because this is the essence, the cream of bhakti, which means very clearly that whatever Krishna gives you, whether it's favorable or unfavorable, whether it's painful or pleasurable, it's accepted in the same light. It's always good because it comes from Krishna, and nothing bad can come from Krishna. So therefore, as you are mentioning, and very nicely, that when a devotee moving on the path of pure devotion, or who may already be a pure devotee, when difficulty or trouble, pain, suffering greets him, he greets it back and welcomes it, saying, "Welcome, Krishna, you coming into my life and enabling me to experience what I normally would never experience." And as you mentioned very nicely, when people see a devotee experiencing like this, now Bhakti Charu Maharaj has gone through we would never think that he would be put through that. But no one here, no devotee can ever say, well, I've done so much good service, so much loving service to Krishna. Why should he give me all that pain? He tests the purity, the strength of your love. When one has real, true, deep love, it doesn't matter what he gets. He only asks for the power or the endurance to tolerate it, so that others who may get this, as you've just mentioned, may also be able to realize that we cannot dictate what our fate is. It is given by Krishna. And when he gives us something, we should always recognize that it is being given for our benefit. It is being given to enable us or ennoble us, to make us in such a character that we did not have before, and which is closer to Krishna's character. This is what he wanted. So that is a nice point. I wanted to make one quick point, and that is when you mentioned that Krishna did not take up a weapon. In one sense, it's true, because he made a promise that he would not fight. But he did take up a weapon. When Arjuna was not obeying Krishna, who was saying, shoot arrows, and Arjuna was not pulling the string back far, so he was hitting persons, but they were not deadly or fatal, and therefore nobody was dying. So Krishna says, if you don't do what I say, I'm entering into this battle. So Arjuna wondered whether he would do that, and he did. He jumped off the chariot, and there was a wheel that was lying on the ground, a chariot wheel. And Bhishma was standing there, and he saw that Krishna was about to enter the battle, and he was going to throw the chariot wheel right at Bhishma. And we have that beautiful picture, for those of you who have not seen it, in Svasa's office, where he's standing with his arms out. Come and get me. Come and get me. I want it. Please throw it. Is there anything better than being killed by Krishna? Only good can come. So that was the idea. And what happened was very interesting, because when Arjuna saw that Krishna was going against his promise, he would be considered a liar, and a very overt one. So what Arjuna did, he jumped off the chariot also, and as Krishna was about to hurl that wheel, he tackled, so to speak, Krishna and told him, no, you made a promise. And he grabbed him around the arms and forced him to drop it. He says, well, if you want me not to fight, then you will have to fight. And so Arjuna says, I will do what you say. That was it.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.